Welcome to Osseo High School for the Section 6 4A Boys Basketball Semifinals. Our first matchup tonight, the number 4 seed, the Armstrong Falcons, and the top seed, the Hopkins Royals. Good evening, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. And boy, you look back through the years in section play, these teams have had some great matchups. Certainly Hopkins comes in as a heavy favorite, but Armstrong played real well in the quarterfinals. They're hoping they can do some things to try and hang with the Royals.
Well, listen, Greg Miller is one of the best coaches of all time, and this being his last year, I think he's got a few tricks up his sleeve tonight, Jay. But you're right, they've had great storied battles over the years. Hopkins comes into this game 25 straight wins. I think playing as the best team in the state of Minnesota. But on the flip side, Armstrong, they're here for a reason. They had a nice, convincing win in the first round of the playoffs. They beat Osseo, on February 8th. Granted, Osseo didn't have some of their players, but this team can play well. We've seen two different Armstrong teams show up, and if their best version shows up tonight, I expect a dogfight.
I think they've come a long ways as the season has gone along, gotten to be better, and teams know at the very least you can't overlook a team like this.
Absolutely, because any Greg Miller coach team is going to play hard. They're going to give it everything they got. They're going to be well coached. They're going to be smart. It just comes down to, I think, the length and athleticism that Hopkins has might be a little bit too much for Armstrong to overcome. But, I love this time of year, Jay, because win or lose, these seniors, this could be the last time they ever play competitive basketball. So you leave nothing on the floor. And when your back is against the wall, that's when crazy things can happen. And guess what? It is called March Madness.
Let's talk about key players to look at in this evening's game, starting with Armstrong. And Ben Iniger is kind of one of those glue guys on your team. Just does a little bit of everything. He can be a physical player when needed, too. Yeah,
and he's a great athlete, too. He's got good length. He plays hard. You talk about playing hard. He plays hard all the time. He's that athlete, too, I think that is going to be really vital tonight against Hopkins. He might have to guard a bigger guy if they play man-to-man or against a more athletic guy, but he's versatile enough and, of course, comes from a good basketball family, a good basketball mind, and he'll have to have a big game tonight for Armstrong to be in this game.
And for Hopkins, they've got a lot of weapons. We're going to talk about a guy that can really get hot and really shoot them, into a big lead, Blaze Beauchamp.
Well, and I love that we picked him because I really think he's the key to their run to maybe winning a state championship this year. You know what you're going to get with Zeke Naji and Hedstrom down low, but if Blaze Beauchamp is confident and taking good shots and making them, he's one of those that can score 10, 12 points in a minute. He's got that kind of confidence, that kind of swagger, so he's going to have a big game. Maybe not necessarily in this game, but I know going forward for Hopkins to make a run, he's going to be vital to that.
All right, Armstrong trying to slow the big Hopkins machine here. The Royals looking to take care of business and advance into the Section 6 championship. It's Armstrong and Hopkins tipping off in just a moment on CCX.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
And welcome back here to Osseo, as it's been the site for the Section 6 tournament for a number of years now, so these teams fairly familiar with playing here. Of course, Armstrong plays a conference game here every year against Osseo as well, and so the Falcons coming in, maybe a little bit of an advantage to have had that game the other night. Hopkins had a bye, and Armstrong, I think built some confidence. They came out and really smoked South. I mean, obviously, maybe South hasn't had a great year or whatever, but a lot of teams found the going a little bit tough in that first round in some other sections. But Armstrong, they came out and, if anything, played above what they've been playing. So they got to like that part of it.
I'm a big believer, too. I mean, we see it in the NFL all the time. Wild card, right? They have to earn their way into the playoffs, and they're hot. I think if you're Armstrong, you're coming off of a good win. Minneapolis South, very athletic team. They did a really nice job, held them to only 46 points. So defensively, and that's where I think Armstrong's going to have to hang their hat here today, Jay, is can they hold Hopkins to 60, 65 points? Because Hopkins is such a high-scoring game. Can they keep that pace to a more manageable number? And if they can, then Armstrong's going to have a very good chance to win this game, or at least be in this game.
Take a look at the starting lineups for tonight for Greg Miller and the Falcons. They will start Nassim Lozier and Ben Eniger at the forwards. Tyler Peterson in the middle. Isaiah Miller and Jake Breitbach are the guards for Armstrong. And for Hopkins, formidable front line. Zeke Naji at about 6'10", Joe Hedstrom at 7 foot, Anthony Davis, Kerwin Walton, and Blaise Beauchamp. An extremely talented team, as Ryan said. They lost their opener to Cretin-Derham Hall and then have not been defeated since, and quite honestly haven't really been pushed in all that many of those games either. They're just a very tough team to beat.
And the last time we did Hopkins, it was them beating Wayzata at Wayzata. It was a close game at half, and then Hopkins just buried them. I always tell people, if they haven't seen Hopkins play, you watch them warm up, you think you're watching a Division I front court warming up with just that length of Hedstrom and Naji. But then in addition to that, they got great athletes, good guards, so they can adapt to any style. They can play slow and pound it in the half court, or they can get up and down the floor extremely well.
Armstrong coach Greg Miller said he doesn't think his guys are overly tight in this one. They kind of know that they're the big underdog, and you just kind of come out and play basketball, and they hope to hang around and at least make Hopkins know that they're there to start things out. Well,
and their margin for error is very slim, Jay, so they got to be really sharp. I'd expect to see them in some type of compact zone defense. And the key is, can they force Hopkins to perimeter shots, but then can they box out? Can they limit Hopkins with their second chance points as well?
Walton around to Beauchamp. He'll shoot it up at short. Kerwin Walton, though, grabs the board for the Royals. Down to the baseline, Naji. His pass was tipped, and Breitbach up with the steal here for Armstrong.
Yeah, and you see Coach Miller already up saying slow it down. I think they're going to try to take some time off this clock. As I say that, there's a great drive into the paint. But they'll be comfortable, Jay, 5, 6, 7 passes, take 15, 20 seconds on each offensive possession.
Breitbach at the top now to Lozier. Yeah, they don't want to necessarily, go into a complete stall, but they definitely want to use some clock and use some passes. Eniger, a shot fake, steps in, it's in and out. Peterson grabs the board, and his putback is good.
Beautiful shot fake by Eniger there. And almost had it to fall, but a nice job by Peterson crashing the boards, and that's not an easy feat against that length. That's a great start for the Falcons.
Davis way off target, but Naji is there to put it back.
And that's what it's tough to rebound and box out of a zone defense. You're going to force a lot of perimeter shots, which is a win for Armstrong, but they got to box out. You can't give Naji, who's so talented, you can't give him those easy putbacks.
Lozier spins and gives it to Breitbach. Now Miller coming to the top here with Walton tracking him. Walton is getting up on the guys. Some of the other Royals may be just content to stay back a little bit, but not so there. There's Davis, a steal ahead to Naji. Lost the handle on it. Gets it back and scores.
There's just not a lot of 6'10" guys that can sprint the floor, recoup like that after losing the ball, and stop on a dime and then have that soft touch. And that's the problem, Jay, when you are kind of stalling a little bit, you can't have those turnovers. There's a beautiful backdoor cut.
Eniger cutting Davis, though, slapped it free. It looked like it was going to be a layup.
Oh.
It'll stay with the Falcons. There's a look at Ken Novak Jr., 29th season with the Royals. In for Lozier, but too high, and here comes Davis running it back the other way. Davis for the layup.
He got us so excited. I thought he was gearing up to throw that one down, Jay. But again, you can see, I've said this for the last couple of years, Hopkins converts turnovers into fast break points better and quicker than any other team I've ever seen.
Stripped away by Beauchamp. Now to Davis. Tried to go back with it.
Oh, great hustle.
Lozier saving that one. Now they push it ahead to Breitbach. Tried to go with the reverse, but tossed up a wild shot there.
And that's what length does. It makes you have to do that. I thought he could have just gone right up maybe and scored that.
Inside to Hedstrom, a miss. Naji the putback.
Well, Naji with 6 quick points, Jay. 4 of them on second chance points. He's just crashing that offensive rebound.
So an 8-2 start here for Hopkins. Back cut here, Lozier now to Peterson. Little floater will not drop. Beauchamp rebound. So Armstrong trying to do what they can to slow this one down, yet they're still trailing early 8-2. Davis to the baseline. Floater goes in and out. Hedstrom kept it alive and then knocked free. Here comes Miller. Lobbing for Lozier, but he missed the dunk. Peterson, the follow-up try. That was blocked. And Beauchamp out of there with it for Hopkins. Knocked away, though. Breitbach ahead. Miller all alone for the layup.
Nice. That's a big basket there. That was 8 straight points by Hopkins. That alley-oop would have been something. Man, Lozier can get up. Almost got it down. Nice job in transition defense there, knocking it loose, getting a layup out of it.
Walton misses. Hedstrom, though, gets the rebound and scores it, and that's been tough for Armstrong right now. They're getting killed on the offensive boards for the Royals.
Well, and it's just so hard when you're in the zone because you're not necessarily blocking a man out. There's a beautiful back door. I like Iniger just consistently going for that back door, and it's open. That's how you combat against ball pressure. But again, there's no one necessarily in your area. You've got to find a way to box someone out. And there's another nice big-to-big pass from Hedstrom to Nagy. Nagy, what has he got, 10 quick points? Eight quick points.
12-6 lead here for the Royals. Inside, knocked away from Iniger. He gets it back, turns, and scores off the glass.
That was beautiful touch. Step forward, and it's not easy when you got a 7-footer flying at you to get that elevation and the kiss off the backboard. Beautiful shot.
Davis lines up a 3. That is off target. Miller the rebound here for Armstrong. Cross court. Breitbach will let it rip, and that is good for 3.
Well, I'll tell you, I like those last couple possessions, Jay. Armstrong, they're not slowing it down. They're looking to run a little bit too. And I think against Hopkins, who's got such length in that half-court defense, if you can push the ball maybe and get some open shots before their defense gets set up.
Beauchamp the miss. Armstrong a chance to take the lead after Hopkins looked like they were going to start to pull away early here. Falcons fighting right back within 12-11. Breitbach for the lead. No. See who touched this one last. It'll be out off of Lozier, and it'll be Hopkins' ball.
Yeah, but here's a look at that Bart Iniger there. Or Ben, excuse me. Look at that turn, and then watch this. Look at that length over the 7-footer. And then here's in transition, a nice throw, a nice drive and kick, and Breitbach buries the corner 3. 5 unanswered, gets Armstrong right back into this game.
Ryan Tabasi, number 22, is in for Armstrong. Breitbach rebounding that miss. Also in for the Falcons, Adam Bewin, number 2. And Hopkins brings Dane Zimmer, number 24, in. Also Akeem Woods, number 3.
Big fan of Dane Zimmer. We saw him in Wayzata. He is active and long. And he would be a starter on any other team, I think, in the state of Minnesota.
And Lozier, a strong take there as he got by Zimmer.
He's got that explosive first step. We've seen him. He can jump, and he finished that high above the rim. That was a great move. Nice explosive drive.
Armstrong playing with some confidence.
Yep.
Woods across to Walton. Woods lobbing for Nagy underneath, and another bucket. Boy, they just haven't had an answer for him. That's his 5th hoop already.
No, nice job by Woods, not settling for a 3-pointer there, just lobbing it up. Hey, when you got a 6'10" athlete down low, if you give him a good pass, Zeke Nagy knows how to finish it. Beautiful pass.
Breitbach cutting free on the baseline. He'll turn and shoot that one. No good, and Woods boards it here for Hopkins. Nagy down to the baseline and back out top. Breitbach stepping in to steal it. Breitbach goes all the way. Layup no good. Bewin follows it up.
Well, nice job by Bewin. You never give up. Your teammate's got a contested layup, and you got to be there for that miss, and he was. And how about Armstrong here? Another steal.
Breitbach all the way with the left hand. Layup good. Boy, Armstrong, somebody forgot to tell them they were the big underdog, right? 17-14 Falcons.
Well, how about the energy, too, that Breitbach is bringing? He has made a big 3. He's not hesitating on his shots, playing the passing lanes, getting out and running. He's been outstanding for the Falcons so far.
Davis on the baseline. Zimmer gets himself free and lays it in.
Well, and a great pass by Anthony Davis going baseline. You know, and that's the thing about Anthony Davis's game is he's a great scorer, but he's a really good passer too. And there's just a great job. Breitbach playing that passing lanes, and this is not an easy finish either. Uses his body to shield the defender, uses that left hand. It's a big time finish.
Here's a look at how we've gotten to this point here. As we said, Hopkins now just 7 teams in this section, so they had a first-round bye. Armstrong thumping south. St. Louis Park over Washburn by 15, and Wayzata by 20 over Southwest, and that'll be the second game, of course, is St. Louis Park taking on the Trojans here on this court. You can watch for that one as well. John Jacobson will join Ryan for that one. Greg Miller, 17th, and he tells us final season as Falcons head coach. And a couple of state tournament appearances, and I always have the feeling that they were good enough probably to have made a couple more, but they've been in the same section with Hopkins for all these years. It's awful difficult for anybody else to get in. Wayzata finally broke through and got in last year, but it's obviously been a tall order to get past Hopkins most of those years.
Well, it's very similar to like Phil Mickelson, who would have been probably the best ever recognized, but he happened to play in that. There's a turnover, that same era as Tiger Woods, right? And Armstrong is just, when I think of Greg Miller, I think of Armstrong, I think of consistency, Jay. Just consistently doing things the right way, always full of class, and always just smart and tough teams. And certainly kind of what we said here in the beginning of the game. Not a lot of room for a margin of error here, but they've come out with just great energy and competing. And they got a 1-point lead. This is exactly the kind of start that they wanted.
Woods brings it back out top. Well, I tell you, if they'd been able to defensive rebound, they would even be in better position, because that's where Hopkins got most of its points. There's Walton knocking down a 3. Royals finally on the board from beyond the arc here, as obviously they've got a good shooting team. And they will be up by 2 after that hoop from Walton. Back cut by Bwin, layup good.
Nice backdoor, but a beautiful pass too. And you can see Armstrong, knowing they're going to be pressured, just saying, hey, if they're denying you cut back door, we got to look for it. And they've hit it a couple times here. And you can see, I think Armstrong, their defense, it's predicated on, they don't want penetration. They don't want easy post feeds. There's a long 3. And they're forcing Hopkins into a lot of perimeter jump shots. And fortunately for Armstrong, they're just not knocking it down.
Bwin doing a nice job on the boards that time. Cole Preem, number 12, was checked in for Armstrong. He had a good game in the quarterfinals. Breitbach is fouled by Davis as he wouldn't take no for an answer there. Kept the dribble going, and Davis bumped him. That's a first foul of the game on either team.
Yeah, I was say, it's been a pretty clean game. A lot of times in a zone defense, that's what happens, right? A team, you take away a little bit of their aggressiveness, they end up settling for perimeter jump shots.
We saw Devin Fry just came in for Armstrong for the first time, and there's Tyler Peterson returning to the lineup for the Falcons as they will inbound underneath on the baseline. Fry getting an early touch as he comes in. Now Bwin. 19-19, Armstrong trying to give top seed Hopkins a run here. Fry tried to go back to Preem. Their spacing wasn't real good there, and the pass came in high and hard. He couldn't catch it.
Nope, and it's just those little kind of plays, right? Those unforced turnovers that drive coaches nuts. They've done such a good job of handling the ball pressure so far. They got to continue to do that.
DJ Davis, number 15, now in for the Royals. Hedstrom back out. Walton, a wide open look at the top, and he can make those. Second 3 in a row for Kerwin Walton.
And from about the same spot, too, at the top of the key. But I like the difference there, Jay, is they played inside out. They went into Hedstrom, defense collapsed, and a nice, when you're 7 foot tall, you can look right over the top of most defenders. Gives a great pass, and Kerwin just knocks his second 3 down.
And we will get a traveling call there on Preem as he tried to go around that screen. Another look, and you see the good look by Hedstrom. And yeah, it's such a difference when the ball comes to you in rhythm, and you've got a little bit of space where you're not shooting right over the top of a hand.
And I don't care what people say, shooters love shooting at the top of the key. It's where they probably get the most reps at as well. And like you said, when you can step into it like that, it's a pretty successful shot.
And Beauchamp will be called for a walk, so they trade traveling calls. Lozier coming back into the lineup here for Armstrong, and Coach Miller has to like what he's seen so far here. Certainly is his team in it within 3 points right now. Now into Lozier, jumps and throws down to the baseline. They'll bring it back out. It's been a good mixture of aggressiveness with patience, I think, for them for the most part. And Tabasi coming up over the top. It's going to be a foul on Armstrong. Tabasi trying to get to that rebound.
Nope, and Fry, I mean, that was a nice shot. Shot fake, got 2 dribbles, got a good look at it. And that's great offense, not playing too fast. A lot of times you'll see when teams play pressure defense, they speed you up. And Armstrong playing at their pace, really nice. And here they're extending their defense, trying to get a trap, and I like that. That's what you got to do to keep a team out of offensive rhythm. You got to change up your defenses.
In and out there for Walton, and then Hedstrom was hammered as he tried to go up with that rebound.
And just so big, so long. You just don't see very many 7-footers in the high school game. And you know, when you see a guy like that, I mean, you think you box him out, right? But you got to clear his body out of that lane, because even if you have him boxed out, he's just so long. It reminds me, Jay, when I was playing, I was working out with the Timberwolves. I remember I thought I had a rebound, and Kevin Garnett came from the 3-point line, and his arms were so long. And I swear he was 10 feet above the rim. So you're just not used to playing against that kind of length on a daily basis.
Well, Joe Hedstrom's going to write this one down the night he was compared to Kevin Garnett on the TV broadcast, right?
In length only right now.
Yeah. He's got a good future ahead, though, headed to Wisconsin. Miller being pressured, and they'll cough it up. DJ Davis now to Beauchamp. So the Royals now by 5. Davis driving. Ooh, an offensive foul. Tabasi stepped in and took it. I kind of thought he might have been still moving a little bit here, but
I'll tell you what, half of that is he sold it, right? He got there. It was a very close call. That's one of those that's such a hard thing to call, because it's in a split second. We have benefit of replay there, but Tabasi sold that, and that's a winning type of play that you got to make when you're playing against Hopkins.
Tabasi comes out to get it, and now Lozier. Armstrong continuing to work the ball around, and then when they see an opening or when Hopkins overcommits, then they'll look to attack. Miller across to Fry.
See, the only difference, the last couple of minutes, you've seen more turnovers for Armstrong. Where that first 8 minutes, they really did a nice job at taking care of the basketball. We've seen a couple of travels, a couple of quick turnovers. If they can handle it, they've been able to get good shots.
Miller back out to Fry, and Lozier will be called for the walk. So Hopkins stays patient defensively here. The teams have slowed down the scoring pace a little bit. We're still at 24-19 Royals as Breitbach comes back into the Armstrong lineup.
Well, and I think you got to give the Royals credit. It's not easy playing that pressure defense for extended periods of time, 20, 30, 40 seconds. And it's very easy to get lazy, to relax, or to make a mental mistake, and they've been pretty locked in.
Walton looking to bank it. No, Zimmer had it knocked away. It will stay with Hopkins. Looked like it was going to be another easy 2 on the offensive glass. Davis and Najee coming back in here for Hopkins.
Yeah, I mean, Zimmer, he's listed at 6'6", but he's got those long arms too, and they can just keep throwing bodies at you that you got to keep off the offensive glass.
Beauchamp gets the return tap out there from Najee. Now Davis looking to Hedstrom at the high post, down low to Najee. Lozier knocked it away, but Hedstrom gets to it, and he was fouled.
Well, what I love that Hedstrom did there, he really aggressive. Went for the high-low, and he followed his pass. The ball got tipped, and sometimes you've seen Hedstrom play is a little tentative, Jay, right? Doesn't attack. With his kind of height, if he's aggressive like that, attacking the basket, he's virtually unstoppable. And if I'm Armstrong, I think that's a smart play. You put him on the line. Don't give him a dunk or an easy layup.
And he misses the free throw after hitting his first 2. Iniger and Bwin coming back in for Armstrong as they have continued to kind of keep fresh bodies rotating in here. Hedstrom's second free throw crawls in, so he goes 1 for 2, and it's a 6-point Hopkins lead.
Yeah, and he had a nice touch there. Short, but got a good bounce, good arc on it, good follow through.
Miller to Breitbach on the backdoor cut. Left-hand layup goes in.
I was going to just say, it looked like that ball was going to miss. Those are shots that you got to make. And there's a travel, a little bit of momentum here for Armstrong, but watch this beautiful backdoor cut. Excellent bounce pass, too. And it looked like he was going to miss that, but got a friendly roll. But great pass by Miller and a nice job by Breitbach to concentration and finishing with the left hand.
Peterson with it at the high post here for Armstrong. Back cut by Miller, but it was knocked away. Did it hit Armstrong on the way out? Yeah, it did. It'll be Hopkins' ball. Good weak side help there, and that's the way you eliminate or at least slow down the series of back cuts is when the guy on the other side low is able to read it. Now Armstrong looking to trap. Walton will launch a three, no good. And Peterson in the middle of the pack grabs the rebound.
Yeah, it's a big time effort there by Peterson, 6'5", but skying up in the air. And I'll tell you, if anything else too, there's those long arms of Beauchamp as well.
Get a kick ball, and it will be Armstrong possession.
But if you run those back doors consistently enough, it'll prevent Hopkins from being overly aggressive. So even if you don't get a bucket out of it, it keeps them honest and maybe allows you a little bit of relief from that consistent pressure.
Breitbach gets the return pass, looking to attack on the baseline. Now back around it comes Iniger, dumping it down low. Oh, but a great block from behind by Walton, but I guess he got a little bit of body or arm there as well as Breitbach tried to finish it.
That was just beautiful offense. There's Iniger driving. Great unselfish play, and definitely Walton looked like got him a little bit there, but beautiful offense. Drive, kick, reversal, attack, extra passes.
Free throw is good. And, Ryan, I give a little credit, too, to the Armstrong kids who are willing to buy into what their coaches are asking them to do in terms of using some clock. Nobody comes into a high school game saying, you know what, I really want to work the ball around for a long time before we shoot. But they're doing a good job of, keeping their aggressiveness while still doing that.
But being
for
smart
buckets.
about it, right? You don't
exactly.
want to, take careless turnovers, but they're forcing Hopkins to guard them, and there's another travel. I like the little half-court trap that Armstrong's putting out there as well. And Anthony Davis, so sure with the ball here. That time tries to split it right here. Goes between his bag. Yeah, and you can see the hop. I think Hopkins maybe wanted some contact there, and Armstrong wanted to travel.
Yep. Peterson with it at the high post, and pass was tipped. Miller will track it down here for Armstrong. 4:20 to go first half. Hopkins leading, but only by 2, and there'll be an illegal screen call on Tyler Peterson right there. And that one, sometimes that's on the dribbler a little bit too if he doesn't really wait long enough to get to scrape off his guy.
You got to bring your defender down. Otherwise, that screener sometimes will lean a little bit to try to get a piece of him, and that's what happened there. And
the trap coming again, Beauchamp. Zimmer at the high post. Davis down low. Hedstrom goes to the reverse. Oh, it rolls out. Looked like a great move, but it didn't quite drop.
It was a great move. All that jelly and no toast. Beautiful move. He's got to finish that.
Underneath, Miller to Iniger for the layup.
But I like Armstrong not afraid to attack and penetrate. They're not penetrating to score. They're penetrating to get their teammate a good shot. And that's a great assist there, and we're back to being tied. Excellent job.
Zimmer the drive, and he scores it. Hopkins back in front by 2.
Well, the great thing for Hopkins is you can take Najee out, give him a breather, and you bring in Zimmer, who's long and athletic too. And when you got 2 bigs like that, playing that high-low, tough to defend.
Right box spins, cut off though, and Peterson now with it. Bwin. Here's Miller driving, and he was held by Davis as he tried to make the pass. Second foul on Anthony Davis, just the 4th team foul on the Royals.
Well, and that's big. Coach Novak's going to take Anthony Davis out. I'm such a fan of Anthony Davis and how he plays, so anytime he's got to sit out with foul trouble, I think it's a big loss for Hopkins.
DJ Davis coming in to replace him here. Bwin will turn and shoot that one, no good. And Zimmer up with the rebound after it was tipped.
I'll tell you, the other thing I think Armstrong's doing really well is their nice job of getting back on defense. We haven't seen a whole lot of transition. And Hopkins is able to turn a defensive rebound into a transition basket very quickly.
Right back, that pass tipped. Armstrong fortunate to keep that one as they tried to squeeze it into tight traffic there. So 2:35 to go here in this first half. Armstrong hanging tough, down by just 2. Right back out to Miller. Miller to Bwin. So one thing about when, Hopkins talking about having so much size, there's Peterson with the cut, and then he bumped into, we'll get a travel call as he kind of slipped. I guess it wasn't all that different from when Davis bumped into somebody and went down there at the other end. So Osseo will come back in.
Yeah, and I like that they tried to go with that back door, and you mentioned it earlier, Jay. Great job of help defense by Hopkins, right? Having that back line there to help cover.
Walton steps into a 3, no, but Beauchamp is there to grab it back for the Royals. DJ Davis.
Armstrong doing a pretty nice job at keeping that ball out of the middle. That high post area on the right there is where it's really hard against the zone, and pretty nice job at keeping that out of there.
Beauchamp misses the 3. Walton the rebound, but then he ran into Tobasi with the ball. Royals do get it back. Walton will shoot it from the corner. That's short. And Iniger wins the fight for the rebound.
And that's where, Joe Hedstrom's got to come up with that. He's right there. You got to grab that. He could have turned and had a layup. Just great hustle by Iniger.
Back out to Breitbach here as we approach a minute to go in this first half and a 27-25 Hopkins lead. See if Armstrong will play for one shot here. Obviously, that wouldn't be exactly a stretch for what they've been doing throughout this first half. They would love to go in with this game tied up or even take a lead with a 3. But even at 2 points with the way it is right now, they feel pretty good. Tobasi at the high post. Now Breitbach, he's going to shoot that jumper. It's off the side of the glass. And Hopkins will get it. Now they have a chance to play for one. 20 seconds. And the floater will not drop, but Walton gets it right back, and then he was fouled. Looks like Bwin will pick up the foul. Or was it Tobasi? Let's see if he gave 2-2 or just 2 there. Looks like Tobasi. They want to get him out because that was his second, and Peterson will come back in. So Beauchamp will inbound here. 11 seconds remaining, and DJ Davis shooting it from the corner. No, the tip wouldn't go. Comes down to Hedstrom off the glass, and good as Hedstrom gives Hopkins a 4-point lead. Miller, oh wow, that one looked like it might fall as it hits the front of the rim. So we have reached halftime in this one, and Armstrong, the underdog, doing a lot of what they wanted to do coming in and hanging right there with Hopkins at this point. 29-25 Royals with the lead. And let's go over to Ryan.
Thanks, Jay. Coach, I thought you guys came out with some great energy there. What'd you think of the first half?
Well, I'm really proud of my guys, man. They're playing great basketball. We've been playing great basketball for a month. We're back cutting. Our stuff's working. Our zone, we have to play zone against these guys. We can't match up with them. They're killing us on the boards at times, but other times we're getting some man rebounds, and I like where we're at, man. I mean, down 4, the number 1 team in the state at halftime, and we plan on doing it again second half.
I love how you mixed in the half-court trap, too. That seemed really successful as well.
Well, we just kind of said we got to mix it up a little bit. We have 3 zones that we play, and yeah, that gave them more problems than I thought it would. And then, we're taking some time off the clock. We like to score in the 20s. That's good.
Hey, before I let you go back to half, win or lose, I know this is your last year. I wanted to tell you it's been an honor covering you, watching you.
Thanks.
I know all of our viewers, you're one of the classiest coaches that we get to cover, so congratulations on a great career.
Thanks for CCX Media for covering us all these years, man. We're very lucky to have them.
Well, you bet. Good luck in the second half, Greg. All right, back to you, Jay.
Thank you, Ryan, and thanks, Coach Miller. Obviously, he's feeling pretty good about the way their plan has worked up to this point. 29-25 Hopkins, our score at the half. We will be back with first half highlights and then our second half of basketball here on CCX. Close game so far here. Hopkins, the top seed, leading Armstrong, the number 4 seed, 29-25 at halftime as we check out some first half highlights from this contest here. Royals getting out early. Najee lost the ball, slipped a little, and still calmly knocked it down.
Great composure there.
Missed on the lob, and then Davis, and it looked like early on Hopkins, they got out to an 8-2 lead,
yeah.
And you were kind of thinking, oh, here we go, but didn't stay that way. Nice pass inside, head from the miss, but Najee, that's how they were killing him early.
I was going to say, that play sums up offensively. Hopkins missing an initial shot, but getting a second, third chance opportunity.
Nice cut there by Iniger, and Miller found him, and that's been a big part of Armstrong's offense in this one, is those backdoor cuts.
Well, the degree of difficulty on that, turning, shooting over Joe Hedstrom. Iniger had a very nice first half.
Kick to the corner, Breitbach. There's another guy who really played well, the sophomore. He's a confident guy. I don't think he doesn't care if you're playing Hopkins or whoever. He's going to attack. And Lozier was limited a little bit with a couple of fouls, but had a nice drive there.
Beautiful pass, speed over the top, and Najee. I mean, how about that athleticism? Going, getting it, keeping the ball up high. And this was a great job. A little transition. That's what you do. You got to follow your teammate, and I think that was Beelan that got the follow-up on that. Nice job.
And then Breitbach jumping into the passing lane. He goes all the way and gets the layup here for the Falcons, and their confidence level is quite high at this point as they had battled back and taken the lead on a couple of occasions. Even Walton getting a little bit hot later in the first half with that 3, and there's another backdoor cut.
They got a lot of good action out of that backdoor cuts, and I think you'll see more of that. And I think really the key there is you look at the leading scorers, Jay, but Hopkins in that first half, 2 for 14 from the three-point line. So that zone definitely working, forcing Hopkins into some long, tough perimeter shots.
All right, we'll come back with more of our coverage here of the Section 6 4A boys basketball semifinals here on CCX. Hopkins leading Armstrong 29-25.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back, 29-25 Hopkins. Let's go over now to Ryan.
Hey, Coach, what'd you tell the kids at halftime?
Got to play harder. Got to make sure we watch the back door. We got to move the ball. Posts got to get a little bit more movement, start sealing the screen, and they're not doing that. So we got to get that.
How big are the first couple minutes here to start the half?
You know what? We just got to play every possession. Every possession.
Good luck, Coach. Back to you, Jay.
Thanks very much, Coach. And Ryan will make his way back over here. Coach Novak, a little bit under the weather, talking to him before the game. And so the voice is struggling right now a little bit, but obviously he had a lot to talk to his guys. That was not the kind of half that they were looking for in the first half. It's kind of tells you what the people thought coming in, that he is not very happy at all, and Armstrong is very happy, even though Hopkins does have the lead. As you see, Armstrong doing a lot of what they wanted to do. Neither team really hitting threes to speak of. Armstrong just has 1 of 5 attempts. Hopkins only 2 out of 14, as we said. But Armstrong, when you're hitting close to 50% of your shots and you're using some clock, that's the way they've been able to stay in this.
Well, I think the key is 32 attempts for Hopkins, which means they've gotten second chance opportunities out of that. But I thought it was interesting too, Coach Novak. They came out very late. I don't think he's feeling well, but his voice was definitely a little hoarse after halftime. So I'm sure he lit a fire into his squad, and that's why I asked him how big are these first couple minutes, because for both of these teams, if you're Armstrong, you want to continue that momentum, get a couple of easy baskets. Nice play out of the half there. And if you're Hopkins, you want to get that tempo up and really establish your presence, your dominance.
Yeah, it isn't terribly unusual in a situation like this for the team that's the underdog. They come out in the first half. They're jacked up. They do everything the way they're told. And then sometimes it can be hard to carry that into the second half and have that same intensity.
Nope, absolutely.
Miller wanted a double dribble there on Beauchamp. Ball almost knocked away. Now down low. Tipped by Lozier. Tipped off the backboard.
Just great effort, Jay.
Iniger went and got it.
Nice job by Lozier. He doesn't get a hand on that. That's an easy catch and layup with that high-low there. That's just beautiful effort by Armstrong's defense.
Peterson looking to drive it at Hedstrom and tried to draw the foul. Didn't get it. And now Walton loses the ball in traffic. Miller coming back to get it to Lozier, and he will pull it back out.
Well, and I like that, right? He could have forced that and maybe gotten it through there for a layup, but not wanting a turnover. Let's take a little bit more time. Let's get a good shot. Nice.
Iniger gets the return. Whoa, that shot almost went in, and I think it would have counted, and he is going to head to the free throw line there. That didn't look like a whole lot of room to get that one in there.
No, and you can see Iniger's done this a couple times. He gives it up. He's cutting right to the basket. And not only are they cutting hard, they're cutting with a purpose, but whoever's got the ball is looking for it, too. A lot of times you'll see that cut is open, and the passer just won't get it to him. And I love how willing the Falcons have been, specifically in Breitbach and Miller, too, of delivering on those back doors.
Iniger hitting the first free throw. He now has 7 points. And the thing about it is, even if you don't get it successfully done, there's no harm done. You still put pressure on the D if you just cut hard, even if the pass doesn't come.
You cut hard and you take your defender with you, so you open up spacing and you open up driving lanes, and it's great offense.
Najee and Woods checking in at that first whistle. Najee was a little bit late coming back. I'm sure that he wasn't maybe using the bathroom or something, as he wasn't quite out there when they came back. Beauchamp stepping in short with that one, grabs it back, gets it again, and then was fouled by Miller.
I'm going to tell you, too, when I was over there waiting to interview Coach Novak, Najee came walking in, and he was limping a little bit. So, and you can see he's walking gingerly, big number 22 on our screen. So I don't wonder if he, didn't tweak something on his leg there, but yeah, he's...
Might have been seeing the trainer then, yeah. Beauchamp gets the return pass, no good, and Peterson grabs the rebound for Armstrong.
Nice job, one shot there and the rebound. And, give Armstrong credit too, but Hopkins missing some of those perimeter shots, and we talked a lot about Blaise Beauchamp. Such a good shooter, such a streaky shooter, but he can single-handedly shoot Hopkins into a big lead. That's how good he is when he's hidden.
Back out to Miller, looking to Peterson. He's going to go at Hedstrom, and then is called for the travel.
I didn't see that. I thought that was a good pivot and a step through. That's one of those I think you just let go, right? I mean, there was no clear advantage gained in there, but called it against both teams.
Beauchamp launching a long one, no good. Miller the rebound, looking for Breitbach, but Beauchamp saw it coming. Then he nearly loses it. It rolls away to Anthony Davis. Looking to Najee, over to Hedstrom. And looked like he might have gotten bumped there too, but no call.
Well, that's where I'd like to see Joe Hedstrom finish at the rim. You see, a lot of times he fades away, and he's so big and strong, he got to finish towards the rim. You're more apt to get that kind of call too.
Breitbach over to Peterson. It was knocked away. Goes back out to Isaiah Miller for three, and it's good.
knocks down a three. Nice job by Peterson getting that ball, but then also getting that ball out to a shooter. And Miller, big time three. And Jay Armstrong's got the lead here in the second half.
And Hedstrom losing it. Now Peterson up with it to Iniger. To Miller, down low. Lozier for the layup, and the lead is three.
Nice.
And a timeout by Hopkins.
Nice transition there. Iniger kicked it out, and Lozier cut into the basket. Beautiful. And watch Peterson stay with this and look opposite immediately. And Miller knocks down a big-time three. Great arc on it. He thought he was fouled. I love this offense. Not settling for that contested three-pointer. Miller finds a streaky Lozier who finishes at the rim. And a quick 5 points, and Armstrong up by three.
Well, we talked about, would their momentum carry into the second half, or would Hopkins just kind of come out and put the throttle down? And we've gotten our answer early on so far here as Armstrong up by three.
But you know what I mean? These first couple minutes, if Armstrong would have come out flat, Hopkins gets 4 or 5 quick buckets, this game would have been a 20-point game. But just like that, it's Armstrong saying to Hopkins, we are here, we are doing this all game long. We still might not win this game, but you are in a dogfight. And I think that's what Coach Novak's telling his kids. Hey, let's not focus on them, focus on us. You guys got to pick it up. You got to value this. As great as they've been all year long, you're in the time of year, Jay, where if you lose, you're done. And so if they have bigger aspirations, they got to first take care of the next 13 minutes of this game, because they're in for a dogfight.
Well, and part of what I think probably is bothering him too is some of those hustle plays, more of them have gone Armstrong's way. They seem to want the ball more on some of those loose balls that have gone to the floor and things like that. Woods. Around Anthony Davis will shoot it. That is short, and Peterson tracks it down.
Well, I think part of it is Hopkins can't settle. Beautiful pass.
Right back. Oh my. The high reverse layup off the window on a great feed from Miller. It's a 5-point Armstrong lead. That's the shot of the year right there.
Well, we've seen Breitbach with a couple of those reverse that didn't look like they were going to go in. I love how Armstrong's attacking, getting that defensive rebound, but attacking.
They're starting to go from believing we can keep it close to believing we can win, the way it looks here. Down low, though, Najee lays it in.
All beautiful feed by Davis. And again, that's the thing. You just can't allow him to throw it over the top like that. The only way you combat that is some good ball pressure and keeping a body on Najee. This is just a beautiful, look at this. Somewhere Michael Jordan's watching saying, that looked pretty familiar. Up. That's not an easy shot with that kind of length defending it, but I'll tell you what, Breitbach had a big-time game.
Does a good job of putting a lot of backspin on that, because otherwise no way that goes in. Breitbach driving it and was fouled.
And I'll tell you what, credit to Breitbach, you're putting pressure on the defense. You're forcing the referees to make that call. Whether it's a foul or not, it might look like one, and that's how you got to keep attacking right now. You don't want to let up if you're Armstrong. Keep attacking.
Down low, and Lozier not able to squeeze it on the lob.
Yeah, they've gone to that play a couple of times and just a little bit off on the delivery there.
Beauchamp steps up and buries a three. First bucket for him.
That's his game. It doesn't matter if he's missed 15 in a row. He will set up and shoot. And I saw his rotation was beautiful there. Right off as it left his fingers. Nothing but net. That's a big-time answer.
So 5 in a row for the Royals as they fight back and tie it up. Miller driving. Tough floater is good.
That is not easy. Going to your left, shooting with the right hand, over length, extended defense, beautiful move. And the thing is, when you're an underdog, if you hang around long enough, you don't feel like an underdog anymore. You start to feel like this is our game. We are going to win this.
Beauchamp, another one. Boy, we talked about if he gets hot, look out, and shoots the Royals back into the lead.
Well, he shoots it in, and he's shooting them from a good 4 feet behind the three-point line.
Tobasi will turn and shoot the three there. No good.
And I think that's a shot Hopkins will live with.
Woods to Hedstrom, down low with the Davis, over to Zimmer. Great passing there for Hopkins, and they're starting to click.
Yep, a good timeout here by Greg Miller. sensing that Hopkins got a little bit of a rhythm right now. But anytime you see, watch, the key here is when Hopkins can get the ball to that high post, Jay, the defense has to collapse. And Beauchamp, that was his second one. Again, high post, Anthony Davis, beautiful touch pass over to Dane Zimmer, and he knows how to finish as well. So if they can get to that high post area, that's when you can really dissect against his own defense.
So Hopkins back in front now at 39-36 after Armstrong had built a 5-point lead there. The Royals, that's the thing, Hopkins can really score points in bunches too. And boy, there are a lot of teams that play them that say, gosh, we held them in check, for a while, or we played with them for a while, and then all of a sudden they get it going. So, and that's a big part of the reason, I think, for that timeout right there.
Yeah, just to get their defense squared away, figured out. And the problem is they just have so much firepower, and you end up, when you're a team like Armstrong, who maybe is going to struggle to score as easily, that's where you got to play great defense. And Armstrong's got to continue to do what they've done, which is some great ball movement, good spacing, great cutting, and great execution.
And there's a steal by Beauchamp. Beauchamp will go all the way and goes to the left hand for the layup.
Yeah. Remember how we said he can score in bunches, Jay? There's 8 points in about a minute and a half.
Lozier stopping here. Stripped away from Tobasi and then batted out of bounds by Tobasi. It'll be Hopkins' ball. And Armstrong right now getting sped up a little bit more than they want to, I think. Preem will come back in. Miller will check out here for the Falcons.
Well, the problem too, Jay, is when you've seen your opponent score 4 or 5 quick baskets, you feel like you got to get it back right away, and you end up doing things uncharacteristic of what you've done this whole entire game.
Preem didn't quite get the steal. Davis short with the floater. Preem across to Bwin. Lozier between the leg dribble, and he traveled. Just jumped up and came back down.
I think initially he was going to shoot it, then he saw Hedstrom there, wanted to pass, and maybe he didn't see anybody.
Probably still better than throwing it, right to a guy.
Which could have maybe led to a quick basket for Hopkins, absolutely. Tell you, Armstrong's done a better job too this half of boxing out, no offensive rebounds.
There'll be a foul on Lozier there as they tried to dump it into Hedstrom. That'll be his third. So Iniger will come in, Lozier will check out. Beauchamp to inbound here for Hopkins. They lead at 41-36. Armstrong and the underdog had built a lead early in the second half, but Hopkins has responded well with probably their best stretch of the game. Inside to Hedstrom, no good. It comes back to him, and then he is fouled.
And again, good defense. I'd foul him, make him earn it at the free throw line, but if you're Joe Hedstrom, he's got to get his lower body involved. Everything's straight up. All your strength comes from your legs, your core, your waist. You've got to bend a little bit and just power through that kind of contact.
Free throw, no good. Peterson will come back in. Tobasi out. That was his third foul as well here. So in a game that was quite foul-free for a long time in that first half, a couple of Armstrong guys, worth monitoring anyway, with 3 fouls here. And Hedstrom's second free throw is good. He has 8 points. And it's a 6-point lead here for Hopkins at 42-36, 10.5 to play.
If you're Armstrong, you want to get a good basket, good possession here. Kind of stem the bleeding. The momentum seems like it's all on Hopkins here.
Peterson trying to go up over Hedstrom. That was a tough one to try and get through. Here comes Anthony Davis, no. And Iniger will grab it for the Falcons. And Iniger off the glass and good. He thought he was fouled there. It sure looked like it.
Yeah, it was definitely contact there, but.
Down low, Zimmer cutting for the layup.
And again, getting the ball into the middle of the court there, Jay. I like Hopkins, their adjustment here a little bit.
Preem down to Iniger. Hopkins really stepping up their pressure, trying to deny those passes a little bit more. Right back out to Bwin. Hopkins playing solid D. They've started to pick it up in terms of effort, I think, defensively.
Yep.
Now Peterson with it on the baseline. Driving it into the middle and back out to Iniger.
And this is a match I'd like to see Iniger try to take Zimmer off the dribble there.
There's a steal for Davis. Layup, no good. Zimmer following, that's no good. It comes back to Zimmer and he scores.
And just that alone, 3 offensive rebounds on that transition.
And it's an 8-point lead for Hopkins. Armstrong right now struggling to find offense. Right back for Peterson and back out. Preem is open for a 3, but that's way off. Peterson, a great effort to save it though. Breitbach will shoot it up there. That's no good.
Well, they got 2 good looks out of that.
Beauchamp cuts
Beautiful
between
pass.
2 and finds Anthony Davis for the layup.
And again, great crossover move, gets right into the middle. And I know I've said it a couple times, but when you can get into the middle against that, the defense collapses. Beautiful no-look pass. And Anthony Davis has had a couple of really athletic plays here in the second half.
Greg Miller uses a timeout as Hopkins has stretched the lead to 10.
And there might have been some contact too.
That should have been
head.
an and one there too.
You know, and just it seemed like 2-3 minutes ago, Armstrong was up 5, right? And just like that, in a matter of a couple of minutes, they picked up their intensity on defense. Hopkins did, and Armstrong just having trouble getting good looks now at the basket. And that's, you know, when you rely on the back door and that kind of emotion, you need someone that can just say, I'm going to go get you a basket right now. And you know, Armstrong just hasn't had that really all season long consistently. And here in the second half, if they want to get back in this game, they need someone right now to step up and hit a couple of big shots and get their confidence back. They were playing with that swagger there for a few minutes here in the second half.
Armstrong will have the ball out of the timeout, find themselves trailing it by 10 after so far putting out a really outstanding effort and game plan here to hang in this one. But seeing Hopkins, kind of a crucial time here for Armstrong. I think they're either going to stick in it, whittle that lead, or it could go the other way.
I think coming out of a timeout, Coach Miller usually draws something pretty good up. See if they can get a quick bucket here. Just kind of stop the bleeding a little bit and pick up their energy level a little bit. Nice play.
Iniger steps up but shoots that one well short, and it's out of bounds.
That was a great set play, a good penetration. They got Iniger a screen, and he followed the ball there. Got a good look, stepped into it. They just haven't been able to knock down that perimeter jump shot here in the second half.
Holding things up so Hedstrom can retie the shoe there, the other end.
I'm guessing those are some pretty big feet, too.
You would think.
I thought I had big feet, size 15. And then when I went to do some NBA stuff, I mean, there were guys size 19, 20. They made mine look like toddler shoes.
Woods will shoot a 3, and that is good. Hopkins feeling it now.
Yeah, and really the biggest difference is they're making their threes here in the second half. First half really struggled 2 for 14, and they've made a number of them here already in the second half.
Fry getting it over to Bwin.
You can tell the level of intensity here and ball pressure is picked up.
Yeah, Armstrong right now, it's hard just to get a pass to the next guy rather than even be able to look at the hoop.
And everything is on the perimeter. You're not seeing any Armstrong guys penetrating to the basket.
Miller for 3, no, but Fry kept the rebound alive out to Bwin, but that is off target as well. Those are going to need to go in if they have a chance to get back in this.
And they're good looks, right? Nice, great effort just to get that ball tipped out.
Zimmer back out. Beauchamp, high arcing shot, no good. Fry the rebound, and with a blocking call again, half court there against Davis. That'll be his 4th.
And that's a tough call either way, right? That bang action like that.
And it was kind of a delayed whistle, but it felt like there was enough contact that you had to decide and call one thing or the other. Miller into a double, tried to go down low. Zimmer dropped down low for the steal. Hedstrom back out to Woods. Zimmer down low, Hedstrom for the finish.
And again, you can see a great cut that time by Dane Zimmer, right? Flashes to that high post at the free throw line. And that's an easy little 5-foot pass to his partner in crime there, Joe Hedstrom. And Joe did a nice job that time, keeping the ball high, finishing at the rim.
Breitbach, a tough drive and finish there for Armstrong. Boy, they've not stopped competing. It's just they're not making shots as much. That one was a nice one.
Oh, and the difference is you see how hard that shot was to make as opposed to Hopkins getting wide open looks. And when you have that kind of length down low too. And here's again, right into the middle of the defense, collapses, easy offense.
Walton the miss, and then going to get a push call against Armstrong as they knock Beauchamp out of bounds. It'll be against Ben Iniger.
I'll tell you what, Ben's played extremely hard today, really well too. I think they're a much better team when he's in that lineup. He's just that athleticism and toughness and smarts. He's got some great cuts too, backdoor cuts.
Beauchamp gets the return from Hedstrom and knocks down a 3. Wow.
I can tell when it comes off his hand if it's going in. He's got a couple of different release points, and when that ball's spinning like it was there, it's a beautiful looking shot.
Fry unable to answer for Armstrong, and now this one really getting away from the Falcons after they had played so well for so long. Peterson the block on Zimmer. Zimmer though gets it right back to Woods. Ooh, and then Peterson an aggressive foul there.
Part of that's frustration, right? You just make a great block, all of a sudden they get the ball again, they just keep coming at you. That's what Hopkins does. They come at you and they come at you. And Peterson undersized against this kind of a lineup, but just playing his heart out.
Foul actually was on Fry, not Peterson. He must have hit him first there, and now Woods gets the free throw to drop. Another look. Yeah, he kind of reached in. The bulk of that was definitely committed by Tyler, but
they both probably should have got one on that one. But that's what you want to do. You don't want to give up an easy layup. You know, obviously, you got to be careful around the head, but you want to make a good hard foul and make them earn it at the free throw line.
Free throw is good. And so Hopkins, it's taken a while, but they've blown this one open now, leading at 58-40. Peterson, now Breitbach trying to go inside. Walton, though, read that one well and took it. Woods. His pass tipped by Lozier, and Nassim Lozier all alone for the Falcons, and he hammers it.
That's a great play. Nice job, Lozier playing the passing lanes, and he knows how to finish it.
And they get another steal. Lozier will get the return pass here. Layup as good as he hits the deck.
Well, this is the kind of run you want to see. Armstrong, of course, never giving up with their effort, but 2 quick points, maybe a third here. Oh, beautiful effort.
Breitbach saved it, but the Royals get it. Beauchamp to Walton, and he was fouled as he drove the ball down the baseline.
There's the dunk. I'll tell you, dunks in high school can get your whole team, your energy, your crowd fired up. And they followed that up with another steal and another Lozier basket.
Woods back out. Walton trying to dump it inside. Tyler Peterson up with the steal here for Armstrong. Peterson, a nice move, no good, and I don't think this hoop will count. It fouls on the initial shot.
And that's one of those where you don't want the foul call, right? Because that would have been an easy tip for Lozier. But how about Peterson denying the post feed and then just taking it coast to coast?
So Peterson, free throw is good. He now has 3 points. Pretty agile move there, really, too, to avoid the first guard who cut in front of him trying to strip it.
Yep. That's what guards do. They try to swipe at it when it's low. He picked it up, almost carried it right over the top. That was a great move.
No good on the second. Wow, Tabasi getting up high in the crowd there to snare that one. So 13-point game. It's not over quite yet. Armstrong's made a little push here. Breitbach drives, dishes, Peterson the layup.
I'll tell you what, win or lose, Breitbach has had a really nice game. And only a sophomore, he's going to be able to take this into the next year as a junior and feel very confident because he's done nothing but attack. And a beautiful pass to his teammate Peterson. Watch the spin move. And really just trusting where your teammate was going to be. That was a big-time move. And you can see he's fired up.
Yeah, Breitbach looked like he was making that pass before he really could even tell if he was there, just knowing he would be. So Coach Novak uses a timeout for Hopkins. I'm sure they were kind of thinking like, well, we put this one away now. And Armstrong has fought back to within 11.
3:49 left. I think right now Coach Miller is going to talk about, he talked about having 3 different zones. Let's see if we see the third one here. Maybe just to try to throw off Hopkins a little bit, see if they can get another steal and get some transition points.
See, Hopkins has started to make a little more on the threes. Not a great percentage, obviously game long, but.
Well, 2 for 14 in the first half, so 4 for 9 here in the second. So much more efficient. And again, 15 more shot attempts, which just tells you they're just getting more opportunities on those second chance points as well. And neither team really shot a whole lot of free throws tonight either. It's been a pretty clean game.
Well, and you mentioned it earlier, Ryan, and I always feel like, you talk about all the things that are big in a game, rebounding and turnovers and all that, but if one team is consistently not having to work nearly as hard to get an easy shot than the other, eventually that shows up in a game.
Well, you run out of energy, right? And you almost got to have some good luck when you're working that hard to score.
Armstrong looking to trap, Breitbach up with the steal. And his layup is good. Armstrong is not done yet. They're back to single digits now.
And again, Breitbach at the center of it all, making it happen with just great energy and effort.
Zimmer down low to Hedstrom for the reverse. No good. There's still time here for Armstrong, certainly. A little over 3 minutes to go. They're down 9.
Yeah, and you don't need threes right now. You just need to get a good shot.
Breitbach will shoot a 3, no good, and Zimmer rebounds.
And they've had so much success, I think, going to the basket. That's where you want to keep it up. You're down 9. You can't get it all back. Just keep chipping away, chipping away. 3 minutes left. You got plenty of time.
Beauchamp trying to split the double team, and then we'll get a foul on Armstrong as he battles between a couple of players. There's a look at Breitbach's steal.
You see him close that passing lane down from about the middle of the floor there. That's just great anticipation and effort.
So Beauchamp to the free throw line here. That was the 17th foul, so now bonus time here for the Royals. We did not get to that point in the first half. And no good on the free throw. Zimmer, though, goes and gets it. It won't drop. Hedstrom stays with it and scores.
That's just a lot to ask, boxing both of those big boys out like that. And Zimmer is aggressive after the ball. And, Hedstrom's missed a couple, easy putbacks, but he's attacked that offensive glass tonight.
Down low, Lozier up off the window and good. He has 4 baskets in the second half, 10 points total. Quick timeout taken by the Falcons as they've cut it back to 9 here with 2:28 to play in this second half.
Right now, if you're Armstrong, you're talking about getting that trap, try to get a steal, and if we can't, who do we want to foul? Who do we want to put on the free throw line? Beauchamp, normally a very good free throw shooter, just missed the front end there of the one-on-one. If you're Hopkins, I see Coach Novak, he's talking about you got to go to the basketball. Some of those cross-court passes, if that ball hangs in the air, you can't wait for it. You got to go to the basketball and meet it before the defender can step in the way and get a steal.
And he was telling some of his guys too, and this is something that, it's hard to battle through when you know another team's going to probably come real aggressive and foul you some, but he's telling the guys anyway, you still got to play through that. maybe they fouled you a little before the whistle blew or whatever, and you still have to keep battling and make sure the referees have to call it by you being aggressive also.
No, absolutely. And if you're Hopkins right now, you use ball fakes, use back doors, because you know Armstrong is going to be aggressive, trying to anticipate, trying to get steals. Use that against them and see if you can't get an easy basket. And I like what Coach Miller's doing here off the timeout, picking up full court, trying to speed it up, seeing if he can create some turnovers here.
Zimmer zipping it into Davis. Now Woods. Nice passing up court. Beauchamp was going to shoot that one, and he kicks it back out. Now Woods. Woods stepping through to Hedstrom for the jam.
I thought Woods did a great job that time, stepping through the double team with his head up too and finding his big fella. And that's how you finish if you're Joe Hedstrom.
Right back, dishing off to Peterson. Lozier trying to go back to Peterson, knocked away though, and Zimmer with the steal here. Minute 45, Hopkins up by 11.
And if you notice too, I mean, most of the second half with Hopkins without Zeke Naji in the game. A lot of Zimmer in there and Hedstrom together, so you wonder if something that didn't happen to Naji is something to keep an eye on as they go forward.
Back out to Beauchamp and now Woods. Down low, Davis back to Hedstrom and Hopkins. That was exactly what they wanted. Worked some time, worked the ball. Everybody touched it, and then they get a layup to finish it off.
Yep, beautiful basketball there.
Miller turns and shoots, no good. Hedstrom boards it here for the Royals, so looks like they are going to withstand a pretty good effort from this fourth seed Armstrong. Hedstrom down low to Zimmer. Wow, he got hammered and no call.
Oh, wow, great effort.
Peterson tracked it down. Beauchamp, though, puts it in.
I'll tell you what, you know, and we say this too, win or lose, Armstrong's got nothing to hang their head about tonight. I thought they came out and they gave it their best shot, and you could see right there Tyler Peterson just diving into the bleachers trying to save that, and just the effort that the Falcons played with, something they should be extremely proud of.
Right back out. Iniger the shot fake. He goes left and missed it. Beauchamp the rebound. Down to 15 to go. So Hopkins, the top seed, is going to survive and advance into that section championship. They will take on the winner of Wayzata and St. Louis Park, which you can also see on CCX Sports. So a tough defeat here for Armstrong, and it is going to be the final game as head coach for Greg Miller for the Falcons here, and for all the seniors in their program too. A tough one. I mean, like you said, Ryan, they did a lot of what they wanted to do for a lot of this game, but they just come up short against a very talented Hopkins team.
Well, you can tell they had a game plan and really executed it very, very well. I think you credit Hopkins, their defense, their energy, their effort in the second half. They really turned it on. And even then, Armstrong down 18 still made a fight to get back to 11 and 9, and they just couldn't quite get over the hump. But that's what makes Hopkins, I think, the best team in the state of Minnesota. They just got that great combination of excellent length, great guard play, and then they can show what they can do. They can shoot the heck out of the ball, too, on most occasions.
So Hopkins will advance. Armstrong is eliminated, and I want to echo what Ryan said at halftime too. Greg Miller, thank you so much for all you've done with us over the years, and a first-class guy and an excellent coach.
I know he fills in sometimes when I can't do color. Is he coming for my job now that he's going to be done? Is that? Maybe I should encourage him to stay coaching a couple more years, huh?
Well, we hope so. And a lot of, obviously, the folks around here know a little bit that he's going to be done. Brian Schmidt, otherwise that a coach, giving him a little pat on the back there as well. So a final of 66-51, Hopkins over Armstrong. That'll do it for this first semifinal here from Osseo High School. Thanks so much for watching. For Ryan Iverson and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night.